So this weekend, I got to watch The Long Walk. And I tell you what, this is probably the most interesting movie that I've seen this year. So I call this movie interesting because not just the fact that the movie was good and it was executed well, but I also find that this movie left me very, very intrigued. And I feel like it was a thought provoking film. But more than just the thoughts on what I saw in the actual film, I'm more intrigued about the book. Now, I need to be quite honest. I am not a book reader. I'm a movie watcher. I am not a manga reader. I'm an anime watcher. So I don't know a lot of the source material that the things that I watch come from. I just knew that this was a book written by Stephen King, and that was about it. Watching the movie, I have so many questions about the world that the movie takes place in. That part is super duper interesting. So talking about it without doing spoilers, I think it's very easy when you look at the attire of all the actors in the movie. Like everybody's wearing jeans and everybody's wearing like regular old school looking clothes. Nothing is athletic looking. There are no running shoes or walking shoes on all the participants in this long walk. So my immediate thought was there's no Nike, there's no Adidas, there's no Reebok. So what year is it? When you look at the set design as they walk this long walk, they go through several different locations, and it's really cool the shots that they include. That's nice when we talk about the visuals. But I noticed immediately all the cars are 1950s and 60s cars. None of these cars are modern. And so again, what year is it in the United States? If you pay close attention to the way things, play out, they call up all the participants, and all the participants have a number that go along with them. And in the opening, the major, Mark Hamill's character, talks about each state has a representative on the walk. But I think I only heard 49 numbers get called. I did not see the highest number I remember hearing was 49, not a 50. And so my thought was, did we lose a state? Also, they allude to and talk about a big war or the Great War or the old days. And it's like, what happened to the United States in this world? That part is way more interesting, or let me not say way more, or just as interesting as watching the movie play out. Like I remember watching things happen and I was thinking like, how is it that the Major can do these things in this movie? I'm sure if I read the book, I would get context to what year is it? What happened during this war? Why is the Major all powerful, seemingly, in this world that they've built? But that's not present in the movie. Not saying that it takes away from the movie, but it does make me very, very intrigued about like what is going on in this book. The movie is starring Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, but I feel like it really just stars David Johnson. David Johnson is amazing. I really enjoyed him in Alien Romulus. I feel like he stole that movie. He was the biggest bright spot coming out of it. Seeing him here and him doing everything that he did in this film, it shows that the man is truly gifted. I felt such authenticity when it comes to his character and all his lines of dialogue. This movie is really heavy on the dialogue and really heavy on the monologues. And it is such an entertaining film to watch, even though it's just people walking. I feel like it was an amazing feat. And I feel like them not including any of those details from the book made so much intrigue possible. Why can you make a movie about people just walking until they can no longer walk and then you shoot that person? How can that be interesting? It's interesting because you can see all the other things that are in play around them. And it just makes you want to know, are we going to get those questions answered, or do we just go along for this ride? And I feel like the ride was worth going on. Absolutely. I really like Mark Hamill as an actor. It's sad that we don't get to see a whole lot of him in other films. Like you see a lot of him in that Star Wars universe and you see a lot of him voice acting, but I don't see as much Mark Hamill as I would like to see. I think that he is a very talented and gifted actor. And I think that he had his villainry hat on and he was incredibly maniacal. He was cast to play pretty hammy, like almost corny in his line delivery, cheesy, ham-fisted delivery of his dialogue, but he did it well and it fit. Like he was a super villain, even though he was just a regular man, an authoritarian dictator, as it seemed, or at least in charge of this segment of the country, or at least these participants. It was crazy. Everything that he had the authority to do. And that's another thing that made me wonder what's going on in this world that exists. So the visuals are good. the story was great because you have so much intrigue. That leads to the pace being well because as things play out, there's no really stopping or slowing down. Like things just kind of flow. The only thing that I feel like is kind of holding this movie back is its rewatchability, and it is because of the nature of the film. I think some people may have been down on the film because the film itself is a bit of a downer. It is not one that you like come out of there feeling good and happy about after leaving the theater. It's something where you're thinking a lot about what transpired, why they transpired, and even the ending is slightly ambiguous, and it just makes you think maybe more than you want to think coming out of a movie. So maybe it doesn't have a high rewatchability among people, but I do think for a one-time trip down that road, it is worth the trip. Now I'm going to get into spoilers here and talk about the things that went on with the movie. It's been out for a while now, and I'm sure those who have wanted to see it have seen it. And so we're going to discuss some of the plot points. The biggest thing that I have questions about and want to mention is the ending, where we get to the point where David Johnson's character, Peter McFreeze, he wins the long walk. And the way he won it is exactly how I thought he would win it. The way he kind of gave up himself in the end, only for his friend to pick him back up and send him going and trick him basically into keep walking. It was really cool to see. Very, very poetic that his friend tricked him that way. And, it's cool the way that it unfolded. My question about it is that when he shoots the major at the very end, he gets that idea from his friend and he shoots the major. There's no real reaction from the crowd. So it makes me wonder, like, okay, he shot the major is dead. The crowd initially reacted and, aimed weapons at McFreeze when he took the carbine and pointed it at the major. And my thought was just, so everybody was okay with letting him kill the major and walk away? Well, what does that say about the state of the world that this movie takes place in? Is everybody living in fear of this major? And do they allow him to do the things that he do because he's the one in charge and there's a dictatorship that exists now within the United States? Like, is that what's happening? And that is what was symbolic with this ending. Like, he kills the major and now people don't even react because they're shocked and they're happy that we are now free from this system. At least that was my thought on it. That was my takeaway from it. Again, it's slightly ambiguous because he turns and he walks, but it doesn't seem like, or maybe I need to go back and rewatch, but when he turns and he walks, it doesn't appear like he's in exactly the same place or town. And so my thought was like, did it even happen that way? Did he get killed? And you just kind of seeing the walk off? Is it that ambiguous, or no, did it really take place just as we saw it? He shoots the major and he walks away and everybody's just okay with it because they're relieved that the major is gone. It's like, I don't know. I would say that, again, the movie is really cool because I like that you get to learn and know so much about all these different characters without necessarily seeing their stories, but you get to hear them have those discussions as they're taking the walk. And you get to see the psychological tolls of staying up for like 5 or 6 days straight and all the logistics, which were disgusting, of, using the bathroom and eating and drinking and pacing yourself and sleeping, and all that stuff was really riveting to see and really entertaining to see. I really, really liked it. But at the same time, I can see how somebody may not. Especially with the ambiguity of the ending, and especially with just the downer of liking characters and growing to enjoy seeing characters and pulling for certain characters to go just a little bit further, and then them ultimately meeting their ends the way they met their ends. Each character did. So not something that you want to watch all the time, but I think it's definitely worth watching one good time. But if you have any thoughts or comments in the comment section, I would love to hear them. And that's all we got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.